Okay, the next question is another question for Nick. So it's, how is furlough changing as of next week?
Yeah, so as of next week, next Wednesday, I think, is the 1st of July, and that marks a bit of a change in the way that the coronavirus job retention scheme or the furlough scheme can be used. So as of the 1st, it will be possible to have folk coming back to work part-time while remaining furloughed part-time. Now, you can only do this for people who have already been furloughed at some point and have completed 3 full weeks of furlough before 30th of June. So essentially, if someone isn't currently on furlough today and has never been on furlough before, they'll not be going on furlough for the rest of the scheme because they won't be eligible. Unless, there's always an exception, unless they are coming back from a period of family leave. So if they've been off on mat leave or pat leave or adoption leave or something like that, then they are exempt. So they could be coming back in September from the maternity leave. And if you wanted to part furlough, part-time them or full furlough them, that's fine. You can still do it for the first time after the deadline because they've been on family leave. So we've actually got a template letter on the website, which is one that you can use if you're inviting people back from furlough part-time. So it's got a wee table that you can fill in, and you can do, you know, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, or you can week commencing this, that, and the next thing, where you can lay out your proposal for part-time furlough arrangements, part-time work arrangements for individual members of staff. Just as with the furlough, the full furlough situation, this is something that you need consent with, because you're temporarily varying the terms and conditions of this person's employment. However, just like the rest of the furlough scheme, it's likely that folk will be happy to consent to it, because the reason for its implementation is obviously because folk want to preserve employment within the business, and they don't want to have to come to a position where folk may have to be made redundant. Now, this isn't happening next week, but another change which is coming up on the 1st of August is that the minimum period of furlough will be reducing from what it is just now, which is 3 weeks, and it'll be reducing down to 1 week. So what that technically means is that you could be, if you were administratively minded enough, you could change or propose to change the hours that your employee would work from week to week, depending on what work is coming in and how busy things are and what kind of work there is. There's no minimum amount of time which has to pass between periods of furlough. So you could have somebody furloughed for a week, back for a day, furloughed again for a week. Obviously, all of this has to be communicated in writing. So as I say, it's administratively dense potentially to do, depending on how many folk you've got and how often you want to propose a change. But you need to have this agreed to, and you need to keep these records because yeah, we need to make sure that if the HMRC do come for a look in the next 5 or 6 years, that everything has been tickety-boo in terms of the permission that you had to alter this, and yeah, so everything would be in order there. There's quite a lot changing, and I'm just going to see if I can pop something in the chat here, which is a wee table that I've accidentally clicked it. So so a wee table that shows you month by month what the changes are in terms of responsibility for employer national insurance contributions and pension contributions, the percentage that can be claimed back, and other things such as can it be carried out part-time, how much should the employee receive. Spoiler alert, the employee should always receive at least 80% of their normal wages at all times right to the end of the scheme. It's just who's responsible for that and in what balance that's going to change throughout. I see there's a question, let me see. If an employee has been furloughed previously, returned to work for 4 weeks, and has gone back to a furloughed status this week, would they need to complete 3 full weeks before being considered for part-time furlough, or could this be implemented? Okay, so I'm just manipulating that one in my brain. So they're eligible for the part-time scheme. They're eligible from 1st of July onward. So that could be part-time or full-time, by virtue of having been furloughed at all before the 30th of June for 3 full weeks at least. So that's good, that's the first thing. And they're on furlough, they've gone back to furlough this week. So no, they don't have to complete a full 3 weeks, because as of the 1st of July, if you wanted to change them to be part-time furloughed, that would be permissible. What's awkward is that another change which is happening is that now claims for furlough can no longer straddle 2 different calendar months. So if this person's going to be furloughed all the way into part of July, you'll need to make a claim for them up until the 30th of June. I can't remember how many days June has. So up until the 30th of June. And then you would make a different claim, which includes their whatever they are, part-time or full-time furlough as of July. So that is an awkward thing, that you can only claim for periods of furlough in July, and you can only claim, you have to claim separately for anything that happens in a different month now. So yeah, awkward, but there you go. Clear as mud, eh?
Is that okay, Lorna? Okay, thanks. Anything else for Nick around furlough at the moment? No? Okay, Dave.